country's global image and boost visitor numbers. Find out more with me, Raj and Data on Fast Track on BBC World News all this week.
This week on Click, we look at something that's being billed as the ultimate ID. Biometric techniques that can make your fingerprint, iris, or the way you walk the most personal kind of security there is. Plus, we'll meet one of the biggest names online, Chad Hurley, co-founder of YouTube. That's all on Click, only on BBC World News.
Will the great Indian growth story continue in the face of the global financial meltdown? Catch the movers and shakers of the Indian economy on India Business Report this weekend here on BBC World News.
You're with World News Today from the BBC. I'm Kirsty Lang. With just 4 days to go before the US presidential elections, both the main candidates, Democrat Barack Obama and Republican John McCain, have been focusing their efforts in critical swing states again today. They're hoping to win the backing of any undecided voters. Barack Obama maintains his lead in the national polls, but local polls in some of the key states show that the race is still close. So, are the Democrats in danger of celebrating too early? And can John McCain close the gap? Well, joining me now from Washington is Republican Party strategist Brad Blakeman and Democratic strategist Simon Rosenberg, who's also president of the think tank NDN. Let me start with you, Mr. Blakeman. The polls are not looking very good for John McCain and Sarah Palin. I mean, do you still think there's a chance you can win?
Absolutely. 1 in 7 voters who have yet to go to the polls are undecided. That's exactly the type of people we want to appeal to in the last couple of days. We have $58 million to spend in the last 3 days. We have 1 million volunteers and a ton of lawyers to keep the process honest. Our crown jewel is Ohio and Florida. We're looking better there than we did a few days ago. So this race is very much going to go down to the wire.
Simon, are you concerned about Ohio and Florida? Because it is pretty tight there. I think only about 2 or 3% in Florida.
Yeah, I think the Democrats aren't taking anything for granted. We've been through this before. The Obama campaign has more money than any Democratic candidate has had at this point. They've got the best ground game that anybody's ever seen. They're now expanding the playing field into states like Arizona and Georgia. So I don't think they're taking anything for granted. And the key to understand about the map, though, is that even if the Democrats lose Ohio and Florida, Barack Obama is still going to win the election because he's going to win in Virginia and in Colorado and in Nevada, New Mexico. And as long as he holds those medium-sized states, he'll win on Election Day. So I don't think the Democrats are planning to lose. But even if those states were to go the other way, I think Barack Obama will still be the president next week. What
do you say to that, Mr. Blakeman?
I say my friend should check the latest polls. New Mexico is tightening. In 2000, we lost New Mexico by about 400 votes. And in 2004, we won it by about 6,000 votes. New Mexico, Nevada tend to close in the last few days. History has taught us that. And history has also shown us that people in those states don't necessarily go with the flow and go with the conventional wisdom of national polls. They vote their pocketbooks, and they also vote on their local issues. Certainly New Mexico, immigration, same problem in Nevada. So these polls are tightening. They tend to close in the last couple of days. History has shown that, and I think they're right.
But has your party, have the Republicans got the money to do it? Because we heard John McCain appealing for more funds. That sounded pretty desperate.
No, we have enough funds. As I've said, the RNC spends, the Republican National Committee will spend $58 million in the last 72 hours. We are being outspent in some jurisdictions between 4 and 7 times what John McCain has spent, and that's because Barack Obama lied to the American people on public financing. But despite that, the polls are close. no matter how much money you spend, it's where you spend it and how you spend it.
Simon Rosenberg, presumably the Democrats are aware of the danger of appearing too confident, because that can turn voters against you, can't it, at the last moment? Swing voters who kind of think, oh, they think they've got the White House, we're going to show them.
Well, I think Barack Obama is making it clear that they're doing everything they can at the end to win this election. I mean, if you look at the TV show he did the other night, it was the most ambitious effort to reach voters in the end of the election that we've seen in many, many years. The message was vote, learn how to vote, volunteer. I got a call at my house last night asking me to go out, from a volunteer going out and asking me to go out to canvass in Virginia. And so, you know, this is the hungriest, most organized closing campaign we've ever seen on the Democratic side. Nobody's taken anything for granted. But I do think that this idea that the polls are tightening is you know, the way I view this is it'd be like a World Cup final where one team is up 4-0 and the other team scores a goal. Yeah, it's getting a little closer, but that doesn't mean it's competitive. I mean, at this point, there is no evidence that this is a competitive election and that McCain is making this competitive at this point. Barack Obama at this point is still up 5, 6, 7 points. He's up handily in the Electoral College. I think he's looking very strong to have an overwhelming and compelling victory on Tuesday.
Presumably, since he's gone as far as to appoint who he thinks is going to be his chief of staff at the White House already, he's pretty confident.
That's just a press story. The campaign has denied that there's been any conversations. Both people involved in that story have said there's been no conversations. Look, I think that they are very focused. I've worked in presidential politics for 20 years on the Democratic side. This is the best campaign we have ever seen. This is the best ground game we've ever seen. This is the hungriest campaign we've ever seen, and it's the best candidate that we've ever seen run as a Democrat in modern times. So we're confident that we're going to end strong and that we're going to win this thing on Tuesday.
Just finally to you, Mr. Blakeman, unnamed sources within your own party have been quoted as saying that Sarah Palin as vice presidential candidate has been a mistake. In fact, one of them was even quoted on the Politico website saying Palin is a whack job, which I think means a bit of a nutcase.
I think that's a lot of rubbish. Unnamed sources are incredible sources. If they really meant what they said, they'd put their name on it. This is wishful thinking on the Democrats' part. There is no trouble in paradise. The McCain-Palin ticket, and I speak to them all the time, my friends who are in the senior staff there, everything is just fine. They're hungry to win, and they're going to fight for every vote. This is going to be really close, and I think both sides are going to be up late on Tuesday, if not into Wednesday morning, trying to figure this out.
I guess you guys aren't going to be getting much sleep in the next few days. Brad Blakeman and Simon Rosenberg, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.